Assalamu alaikum friends. I hope you all are well and enjoying learning with language and linguistics. In this lecture, we are going to talk about basic concepts in syntax. So let's move to our first slide to know these basic concepts. Word syntax is derived from the Greek word which means together and sequence. Syntax is the system of rules and principles that describe how to organize words into phrases and phrases into larger units called clauses. Syntax constitutes a part of grammar, shows how words are combined into phrases and how phrases form clauses and how clauses are joined to make sentences. Phrase is an expression which is constituent in a sentence and is the expansion of a head or keyword. Phrase is a syntactic unit. It can be noun phrase, verb phrase that is headed by a syntactic category called noun or verb as the head or keyword. For example, King laughed. Here we have noun phrase that is King laughed. Also, we have Mary and John, although it's just one word, but that is also noun phrase. Clauses and sentence. Clause is a syntactic phrase made up of at least a subject that can be noun phrase and a predicate that can be a verb phrase. Terms sentence and clause can be used synonymously. A sentence or clause is an expression which contains a subject and a predicate, complements, and adjuncts. For instance, noun phrase the king is the subject and the verb phrase composed of a single verb laughed is the predicate. Subject is syntactically the noun phrase in the clause and predicate is syntactically the verb phrase in the clause. Let's have a look on few examples about sentence and clause. John smokes cigars and my brother brought an expensive car. Here, John and my brother are noun phrase, but smokes and brought are the predicate. However, cigars and expensive car are the complement. Similarly, we have John smokes, the king laughed. Here, John and the king are the noun phrase and smokes and laughed are predicate. Complement is constituent whose presence is structurally dictated or required or licensed by a particular word. The presence of the complement follows from the presence of the word which it is a complement of. For instance, the noun phrase my brother is the subject and brought is the predicate and expensive car that is noun phrase is a complement. More particularly, a direct object of the verb brought. When subject and complement are together, they are called argument. The subject and complement together are said to be arguments of the predicate. Arguments are the participants' entities that are involved in the situation identified by the predicate. For example, my brother brought an expensive car. The predicate brought has two arguments. The subject, somebody did the act of buying, and the object, something was done that was brought. The subject John and the complements cigars are the two arguments of the predicate smokes, the two entities involved in the act of smoking. As we have learned in the previous slide, that the combination of subject and verb is called argument. In English, we have subject and complement, but first we must have to know the difference between subject and complement. And the first difference is subject typically occur in the nominative case like I, he. However, objects occur in the accusative case like me, him. You can see At the bottom, I have given nominative and accusative case. Subject typically carries nominative case, whereas complements carry accusative case. Sometimes that is termed as objective case. For example, he smokes cigars is the accurate sentence syntactically. But if we say him smokes cigars, that is incorrect. Similarly, John smokes them is the right one syntactically. But if someone says John smokes they, then it must be wrong syntactically. So subject typically carry in nominative case and object is in accusative case. Another difference between subject and complement is verbs agree with their subjects in person and number. They don't agree with their complements. So if we have a third person singular subject like he or John, we require the corresponding third person singular verb form smokes. In contrast, if we have first person singular subject like I, or a first person plural subject like we, or second person singular or plural subject like you, or a third person plural subject like they, we require another form that is smoke. He smokes cigars is the right one syntactically, but we cannot say he smoke cigars. It must be wrong. Similarly, I, we, you, they always take smoke cigars. We cannot use smoke cigars with them. If we change the complement by replacing the plural form cigars with the singular a cigar, the form of the verb in English is unaffected because verbs always agree with their subject in person and number but not with the complement. Here, John smokes cigars or a cigar. Both are the complement. So, there is no difference and sentence is syntactically accurate one. Third important difference between subject and complement is subject in English typically precede verbs while complements follow them. Or you can say subject comes before the predicate and complement comes after the predicate. For example, John smokes cigars. Here, John is a subject and smokes is a predicate, while cigars is the complement. You can see smoke is a predicate and John is before predicate. However, cigar is the complement that is after the predicate. So the difference between subject and complements are in terms of whether they normally precede or follow the verb, whether they have nominative or accusative case, and whether or not they agree with the verb. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe Language and Linguistics.